Welcome, one and all. I'm making kind of an announcement in this video, and the reason for this is because I noticed that my Jupiter Direct video for all the 12 signs got over 500 views, which is huge because I've never had a video had that many views before. For a long time, I'll say. And I put a lot of work into that video. I feel really, really proud of it. So if you've seen that video, you're probably going to like this one and enjoy that one. And you can go back and watch that one if you haven't seen that one yet to see what Jupiter Direct means. And I just want to say I'm so glad that and just very, I'm grateful that the way that I do these videos is getting out to a lot of people. That way they're seeing this, and they're seeing what a real, meaningful interpretation of the signs in the zodiac means, and not something which is so, meaningless, in my opinion. There's only meaning to it if it just happens to resonate, but a lot of times it doesn't, and a lot of times what I say here will not resonate with you in your soul. But, take what resonates and leave the rest. And this is the video for the new moon in Pisces. You can check for your sign. I have the video done where I made the collective video about the new moon in Pisces. I really encourage you to go watch that because there's a lot of interesting information and insights that I bring up, and then I think that you would enjoy it. And it gives you a more holistic overview of what this lunation is about. So, timestamps are in this video, or if they don't show up in the video, because sometimes they don't show up, they're in the description below. So if they're not showing up, just look to the description, but if they do, then great. Alright, so I'm going to jump right into Aries. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising signs. If you don't know, then you can go to astro.com and look up your birth time and find all that information there. Just know what these things are. I would mainly focus on your sun and rising signs, but you can take the moon into account. I wouldn't go beyond that, though. Because that's more, when you get into those kind of things, you're really talking about an astrological consultation. And the thing that I want to express is, the forecasts are just so general with the houses that if you're looking at houses like this lunation happens in whatever house, you have to look at the whole chart holistically, and you have to look at the rest of the chart to see the real story and see how it applies to you specifically. Because, at least I feel that these are going to apply to more, and then that's just my feeling on it. So anyway, I've expressed that. I've made it very, very clear in other videos. I will get into your readings now. So I'm going to start out with Aries. So this lunation for you is a time which is not completely about moving on. You're still kind of reflecting on things. You're still kind of learning some of the past lessons of some of the things that you learn in your path of evolution, such as when it comes to your goals, your emotional temperament. All these things come about. You are tying up loose ends about anything unresolved. Like when you resolve something, you finish something up. You find a way to end a situation, and you have some closure and some resolution, and you find some peace toward resolving it. Like, doesn't it feel so good just to resolve something and not having it hanging over? And you don't want that hanging over when you go into your next year of just full-on Aries season with all those planets in Aries in your sign going to be activating you and stirring you up. So this is a new moon to really think about, really evaluate, what do I need to clean up? What do I need to finish from the past? Also, you can be so caught up in your own life and in your own small self, like the sayings, life is suction cupped onto the end of your nose. And instead open up to the bigger picture of life and the more broader view of just the spiritual elements of life, not necessarily your immediate wants and needs, but the more spiritual elements of life in terms of what your heart wants, connecting to that. The compassionate part of you that just wants to open up to others, and Aries can actually be very, very helpful to others with encouraging up, and Aries is very compassionate in the way that they encourage others to stand up and believe in them, so that could also add to it. But this is a time for spiritual practice. The new moon in Pisces is a time for spiritual practices, and these spiritual practices are not, they may feel unstimulating, and you're like, why do I have to do a spiritual practice when I could be doing all this other stuff that's a better use of my time? Well, it can be very, very beneficial because it can get you back in touch with your real self and what you want and who you are when you do these spiritual practices. An example of this is pulling an oracle card. When you pull an oracle card, you get guidance, and you are, it's very, very healthy for Aries to be very reflective of itself. And oracle cards help you bring reflectiveness to yourself. Like, they tell you what you need to know, what you need to think about. Like a card that says, slow down, don't rush, or, be bold and brave. I mean, whatever the card is, it helps you connect to your spiritual self. And connecting to your higher self is really your evolution this lifetime, is when you're connected to your higher self and you're living a life in alignment with that and what you authentically want, and using your will to go out there and make things happen. So the very, very last thing is, you're very, very, excitable, very much about, like, I want to go, I want to do this, I want to go to this restaurant, or I want to go for a run, if that applies to you. Don't stereotype Aries as a, physical sign. I want to jump on the trampoline, or I want to sing to the top of my lungs, or whatever the excitable activity that gives you the chi, that gives you the juice of life, or the juju of life, you could say. But instead, this is a time to calm it down, to just calm down, to just relax and be with your life, and just enjoy the present moment, and get yourself into that just slowing down, connecting with your soul, and enjoying the spiritual elements of life, and the the nice calm waters that go throughout the seas, the nice calm trees that shine in the wind, the nice the people in your life that are present with you. So calming down and enjoying these more simple things in life is going to help you get past your immediate needs and what you want. And this is a time to tone down your energy. Like, this actually can be a time to help it. It's not suppressing it, but it's just calming the waters where you're not so out of control and excitable, but you're just calmer. So this is a time to calm down for Aries. This is not a time to be so excitable. This is time to just calm yourself a little bit. Okay, moving on to Taurus. Now, one of the aspects of this lunation is Sun sextile Uranus. Sun and Uranus is actually in your sign, and it has been for since 2018. So you've been feeling a little bit more unstable and ungrounded, because Uranus is, ungrounded in Taurus' stability. So your values have gotten shaken up. The security that you had has got shaken up when Uranus was in Taurus. So this is a time to get out of your comfort zone. Try new things with the Uranus energy, because Uranus energy encourages you to break out of the box. Get out of what you're familiar with. Because Taurus has a comfort zone. It's like, I'm staying in this comfort zone and I'm refusing to break out of it. But when you do that, Taurus can really, really limit themselves with life. Like they can really hold themselves back. Like they're afraid to take risks. They're afraid to take chances because they're afraid that their material security is going to be disturbed, that their peace is going to be disturbed, that they're not going to have their nice flowers, or they're not going to have their nice, setup in their living room, or they're gonna, lose their house, or they're just so afraid of change and instability that they hold themselves back. So this is saying, push yourself a little bit, and get out of consider. What can I do? Even a little nudge in that direction. Doing what you feel comfortable. Don't just abruptly force yourself. But what are the little things that I can do that I can expand out of the small comfort zone? Like I'm in the box, but I'm expanding the box, because a worst Taurus can make its box so small that it becomes very limiting to them. Now, another thing with Taurus is they can eat a lot. Taurus rules food and the essential elements of food. Like, they love nature, everything about nature, and part of it is food. So they really, really like to eat. The salad, at worst, the cake and the cookies, the really, really indulgent food. And this is saying not to overdo it. And at best, Taurus has moderation with this, because it just is one of those signs where it's like, I feel satisfied now and I can stop. I feel good. I feel secure. I feel good in my body. But at worst, it's just very can engage in gluttony with its eating habits. And I mean, if you do have shame for your body, like, you're just eating too much. What can actually happen is, if you do allow yourself to eat these things and love your body, then you won't need to eat as much. So if that's you in that situation, then that can really help you out with that. But just being aware of how much you are consuming in general with food. Now, Mother Nature has so many answers, and for Taurus risings or Taurus sun or moon, I have a song that I put out called "Look at the World Around You," and I think that you would really like it, because the song is about nature and all the beauty elements of nature, and it's a celebration of nature, basically. The bushes, the trees, the animals in nature. Like, that's what it is about. So you might consider listening to that song. But just in general, looking to, Mother Nature. Looking to, really, really studying Mother Nature and all of her bounty. Like, you love nature so much. It's time to really invest into that. And look to her for answers. Like, if you're feeling really, really ungrounded, go out in your, backyard in the northern hemisphere and just sit with the trees and just be receptive to the messages of nature. Just sit and look at trees. Like, this is a new moon to be still, and you can be still in nature. Like, look at the trees, look at the flowers that come up in spring right now. Sit in your backyard and, do something very, very quiet, where you're somehow in a spiritual way. It's not going to be like in a logical, easy way. That's why I can't really explain too much in this. I can't draw this connection, because it's not going to be just a material, easy thing. It's going to be a spiritual, intuitive feeling of what you're going to be feeling inside that you may not be able to put words to, but it will be the feeling, and the feeling matters. So, the other thing is, Taurus can be a provider. Like, Taurus has this responsibility to provide. It feels responsible to provide for the others in its life in a material way. If you're on a farm, for example, and you're growing all these crops, then you feel responsible for growing the crops. You feel responsible for cooking the food, taking care of the house. Like, all these practical, basic needs. Like, Taurus in astrology is your basic human needs. Food, shelter. It's very, very basic Earth. And then we grow through the 3 Earth signs in astrology. But, who are you providing for that maybe doesn't appreciate all you're doing to provide for them, or is not receptive to it, or is not showing that they love that to you, or is just doing it without gratitude or acknowledgement of you. It's just kind of, it's like it's like you say, like you're kind of in your own little world when the Taurus sun or rising sign person, for example, gives them food and they just say, like, thank you, instead of, encourage them to drop into their heart and really mean what they say, and notice when others are not appreciating what you do for them. It's really, really good to take notice of that energy and do something different because of that. Gemini. Now, Gemini, has all these ideas about itself. All these thoughts about itself, and sometimes they can be insignificant thoughts. Like at best, Gemini can lean into the very, very profound thoughts about itself, like Sagittarius is with its profound knowledge. Gemini is superficial, shallow knowledge. So it has all these thoughts about itself. It can be, thoughts where it's like just very, very shallow on the surface thoughts, but it can also be like, I'm having deep thoughts about myself. I'm having real thoughts about myself, and all those kind of things like that. So looking at who you were before, and looking at maybe asking hard questions to yourself about the narratives in your mind that you have made about yourself. And you can actually journal about these things in your journal. Like look at the old ideas that you have about yourself before this point, and journal about what those ideas were, and then come to a new conclusion where you come up like, this is who I am now. I'm rewriting the story. This is the person that I want to be now. So we're framing the old thoughts and the old voices in your head and the old narratives telling you all these things, about yourself in that way. Are you paying attention to, to your intuition, to your body? Are you really dropping in when you respond? Because it's so easy for Gemini just to, when someone asks a question, for example, just to respond in a very kind of shallow way with its response. But when you drop into your inner senses, you can actually find something very, very profound and very, very deep. And you are so great at articulating things, and you can use your voice to communicate really, really profound things. So, being present with your inner senses, being present with what your intuition is saying about who you are. Because the new moon in Pisces is about connecting with your intuition. Pisces is very, very much related to your intuition. So dropping into your intuition and drawing different conclusions is what this is about. And so, instead of, really, really controlling what thoughts you have in your mind, because, Gemini can't do that, because if you're so wrapped up in your thoughts, then it's natural to want to get in there and, be the boss of your mind and control them, but you can't control your thoughts. Thoughts just come and go, and they come in. You just have these random thoughts. And so, Gemini, I will say that one of the things is this goes to kind of getting so stuck in your head that you become in, depression because you're so stuck in your head with all these thoughts. Like back in 2019, I had these random thoughts that came into my head, and I was like, where is this coming from? This foreign thing coming from? And I had all these really, really disturbing thoughts about myself. Well, not disturbing, but thoughts uncomfortable. Like I had the thought of my teeth for a long time. I thought of my hands moving. I thought of, I literally was hyper aware of how I walk and if my legs touch each other when they walk. Like these really, really weird thoughts. And, there's a meditation called leaves on the stream meditation where you're just, and that's a very, very healthy meditation for Gemini to do at this time, because it's just allowing your thoughts to be what they are and not trying to control them. Just let them go. And this is about releasing. So you're releasing these thoughts. And you're also being open to the perspectives of others. That's another aspect of Gemini that's very, very important, is being open to others' perspectives. Like, what are others thinking or doing? What do others think? And listening. This is a quiet time for Gemini. This is not a talk, because at worst, Gemini can just talk and not be quiet and be receptive and listen to the person. So being open to the perspectives of others, not just the idea. Like, you can think, oh, the idea of it is so great, and I'm just so interested and curious. Well, show that and embody that by listening, calming yourself down, opening yourself up, like really absorbing what that person is saying and really hearing them out on their perspectives in life. So that can really, really help Gemini a lot. Okay, moving on to Cancer now. So Cancer, now one of the things I recently read about Cancer, because I was like, I don't want my knowledge, I don't want to get in a rut with these videos. I don't want to be repeating the same things about the signs over and over again, which I fear that I will, but there's only so much to know about the signs. There's just only so much to know about these signs. And so I may very well repeat things in these videos. I try not to. I have a lot of planets in Gemini. I'm just like, nope, I don't want to repeat things. But if I do, then I'm okay with that. But anyway, one of the things I was reading was that Cancers are just resistant to the outside world. Like, they put up this boundary in this wall, which I kind of already knew about outside. Like, they reject those from the outside because they do not feel like those outside forces are worth it to them. They feel like they should devote their time and energy to their home life, to their family life, to the people who matter the closest to them. But this is saying, open up to those, outside of your community. Really, be open to, friends, colleagues, and find emotional solace and connection with them. Like, expand your circle. I know that you're so connected with family, and I know that they mean a lot to you. Life isn't just family alone, though. It is also friends. It is also acquaintances and all these kind of things. And Gemini, the sign before Cancer, can help, hey, I'm open to meeting all these different people. And Cancer can help Gemini with the emotional connection of it. But opening up to different people, new people, can really, really be helpful. Now Cancer can hold on to the past. They can dwell in the ghostlands of the past. They can dwell in, like, the good things about the past, like the, what I call, I have a term for this, pasty memories, which basically means, like, you're cooking in the kitchen with the family member, making a kind of, dough or pastry or something, and you're building that strong connection with the family. It's a nostalgic memory of you cooking in the kitchen with your family, and you're baking specifically. That's what I call pasty memories. That's my term for that. So good memories or negative memories of when you were hurt, of when you were betrayed, of when your feelings got hurt, of when someone said, oh, I don't like this dish, or you thought that they meant that I like this dress, but that means that they do not appreciate the other clothes that you have. It goes back to not taking things so personally and so literally, because Cancer can easily take things so personally. But this is more about letting go of those old memories. And just, like, this is Capricorn. This is what Capricorn can help you. Capricorn can actually help you become more present. This is about becoming present. Because when you're present, you're not focused on, you're not absorbed into the emotions of the past. You're just here right now. So, just a nice meal. connecting with somebody and really being absorbed in that connection. Reading a novel and getting, stuck in that. Sitting in your favorite chair with your favorite, comfortable, warm and fuzzy clothes. Doing whatever you can to become present. To not let these old memories keep you back from just living and being. Because Cancer at the worst can forget to live, because the past is all that matter to them, and the emotions take over, and you forget to live. Like we live here in the present moment. Life does go on, and you can like I know it's very, very kind of a hard pill to swallow at times. But you can't go back to the past. It was what it was. So what can you enjoy now? So, and I say that with a lot of compassion because that is the truth. So, I wouldn't limit yourself in that way. And then, prioritizing your emotional needs. Really, really prioritizing, what do I need on an emotional level for me to feel secure? Do I need a nice home? Do I need to wear comfortable clothes? Do I need to have family around me? Do I need nurturing, comfortable surroundings? Like Cancer, Cancer can be very, very focused on beautifying its home. Like Cancers, I like to think Cancers just have the best put together homes. They really know how to make their home a beautiful, comfortable place because that's their focus. So they will do all they can to make their home the best place. So if that's an emotional need, then focus on that. And, getting out of your emotional wants and just prioritizing what you need is very, very important. And this is a reflective time. Cancer can at worst avoid its emotions because it's so deep with going into the emotions, because it's just so overwhelmed it doesn't want to deal and face the emotions head on. And so can you just sit with yourself, like be present with yourself, with your emotions. This goes back to presence, like being present with yourself, with what you're feeling, sitting with these things, allowing them to be there, and just going into reflection about them. You can really utilize this new moon for that. Moving on to Leo. So Leo is so externally focused on, the group and, getting out there and Aquarius is too, but Leo is more in a sense of, I want to shine in the group. I want to be a beacon for a group. I want to be the star of the group. And so, can you detach from that need to always put yourself out there and go within? This is not a time for Leos to put themselves out there. This is a time to go inward. Go into reflection about yourself. So this, you can do that only because at best Leo goes into reflection about themselves and then they come out and show their stuff based off of the clarity that they get from expression, instead of just expressing themselves without going into reflection, without gaining the clarity. So going into your own internal peace is really, really important. That way what you bring out is more meaningful to the world, or what you want to share. And any part of you that you feel just ashamed about, that you don't want others to see, that you just, you feel so good about yourself, but there's this one little part of you that no, I want to reject this, I want to, deny this, and I want to, completely ignore this and put this aside. But now it can be, integrating the parts of yourself that you feel, ashamed about, and really, really living in that authentic truth and being your true self in that way. Now, Leo's creativity is very loud and very, very vocal. It's very, I have this creative desire and I'm just going to express it. I'm just going to sing and shout and dance and, whatever the creative thing is. But Pisces creativity is more intuitive. It's more internal. It's quieter. So, sometimes you just feel this creative urge to just share something and do something that you're not really doing the deep inner work to look at, how is this creative inside me? What is the real creative meaning and point behind this inside me, as opposed to just the outer expression of it? So instead of just being vocal about it, focus on what is going on inside you, the creative ideas and feelings and desires inside of you, as opposed to just always needing to outwardly express it. And then ask yourself about yourself in your life. What chapters of your life do you want to end or begin? What new story do you want to carve? Because new moons are about setting intentions. Virgo. Now, I talked with Taurus about, they can limit themselves. Virgo can also limit themselves as well, because, at the downside, all the earth signs can limit themselves with their predictable life and their earthly life, that they need the earth signs to come after that and to say, hey, you can open up to new ideas and you can expand your mind and get out of your comfort zone. So Virgo needs a plan. If it does not have a plan and a routine to keep its life going, insecurity comes, fear comes, discomfort does arrive with Virgo. If they don't have that solid routine, then it can be very, very difficult for them to go about life. So, the Sun sextile Uranus energy is encouraging you to break from the routine, because Sun sextile Uranus is an aspect during this lunation. So breaking from routine, breaking your plans, and embracing change. Getting out of just your schedule and your list. I think that you just have to let go. And, let go of trying to follow this rigid structure. And, I must do this because I promised this person I would do this here. And I have to stick here, and I have to be on this timetable, and I have to get this done as a certain amount of time, and I have to follow my list, and I have to be productive, and I have to do something in order to make it count. You can hold yourself back. So life is not going to be all predictable and routine all the time. It is going to bring disruptions and change. It is going to bring all that. So before, you can either be willing to go into the change now, or you can be just so stuck in your routine, and then, oh my gosh, God forbid, some change happens, and then your whole world is, thrown upside down, because you're so stuck in the routine that you're not, comfortable with change. Virgo is not very comfortable with change, even though it is a mutable sign. Mutable signs are about change. So, choosing to say, I have my routine and I will be true to it, but you know what? I can take a break for a little bit and I can try other things. I can expand out of this routine. I don't have to follow it with the structure, and just release the need to follow it on a certain timetable and focus on other things, and then come back to it. You have the freedom during this time to, and in this life, to not always be rushing and working. You can do something else, and then come back to it. That's very, very healthy to do. Now, Venus square Jupiter. Jupiter in Virgo is like the overindulgence, and at worst, it can overindulge in self-criticism. And so if you're overindulging in self-criticism, because it's so easy for Virgos to criticize themselves, with all these criticisms, I should have done this, I should have painted this painting, I should have gotten rid of this, I should have done this better, I should have, all these shoulds. And in the self-criticism, you can really, really overindulge in that. You're not careful. So catch yourself and say, oh, there I go again. I'm self-criticizing, and just stop and just accept things as they are and choose to have love and compassion for yourself. Now, Virgo can get caught in the mundane life. Like Virgo is kind of the mundane, because it's like the rinse and repeat routines that you have to do, on a daily basis, over and over again, to infinity. And And these mundane details of life, it's so easy for Virgo to just get caught up in the minutia of all these things that they lose touch with their heart. They lose touch with their soul desires, that they forget to reflect. Like, take time out this new moon to reflect on yourself and what you really want. Instead of doing the same thing over and over again, the 9 to 5, waking up every morning doing the same thing, pause, reflect. This new moon is a pause button for all the signs, but for you especially, reflect. For some of the signs, I don't know, but in general, a pause. So just stop things. Like, this is time to stop your activities for a little bit, or just put a halt on it. And ask yourself, what do I really want beyond these mundane details? What does my heart really want? That's a deep, profound question. Sit with that question. I would suggest journaling about it, because if you just sit with it, you might not have the answers. I've certainly found that, to be honest, but you can sit with it and journal about, this is what I really want, and this is what I'm writing in my journal about this. That can be very, very helpful for Virgos. And also, Virgo is really, really good about putting up boundaries. So this new moon can really, really help you with putting up boundaries. And if your boundaries are not strong with others, then it can help you strengthen these boundaries in the best of ways. So strengthen your boundaries and make them stronger if you're observing that your boundaries are not very strong. Moving on to Libra. So this is a new moon about spiritual practices. And so these spiritual practices can help you connect, more with yourself. You first need to connect with yourself before you can connect with others. And so think of these practices as self-care practices. And so you have to know yourself before you can connect with others. Otherwise, you're just like, I don't know what, at worst, Libra in conversations, I don't know, what do you think? What do you want? What are you all about? Well, part of a conversation is including yourself. Including, what you have to bring to your piece of the puzzle, what you have to bring to the table. So, when you connect with others, in, let's say, conversations, for instance, it's important to connect with yourself if you feel like so absorbed in the other, because Libra can get so absorbed in the other that it can lose its own ideas, its own sense of sovereignty, its own wants. So, reconnecting with that before you just interact with all these people in your life. Libra can, really just be kind of, have an attitude that they are open to just anyone. I did say on the Jupiter Direct video that you can't harmonize with anyone. This new moon is not about harmonizing with those who do not have your interests, but those who fit your interests. Those who have your common interests in play. Those that get you, have your similar interests, similar passions about life, where you can actually form connections with these people that are like you. A lot of it is you. Like, forming connections involve you forming the connection, therefore you are bringing something to this connection. So what do you want to bring forth to the connection? So being with those who really, really fit you, instead of those that don't, and you could be more discerning, like, wow, I'm harmonizing with people that are not difficult to harmonize with, that I have to open up my mind to. I think Libra has to feel like they have to have a certain mindset and a certain mode. I think they get themselves into a certain mindset with people. Like, just be and relax and choose to be with people that just get you and have your interests at heart. So, Libra can get so caught up in, pleasing the other and connecting with the other, that it forgets self-care. Like it forgets about this. So, self-care, whatever you can do for self-care, nurturing yourself before you just give to the other and provide for the other and be with the other is very, very important. Like, Libra is about that, and you are kind of here to do that, but only when you can, fill up your cup and nurture yourself. Like, take care of yourself. This is a moon for deep self-care. So you can really utilize this new moon for taking care of yourself. And then, what are those relationships that you're like, oh, I can't do this, but I have to do this because I want to harmonize and I want it. Like, Libra just wants to get along. They just say, I just want to get along. But you have to be rigorously honest with yourself about those in your life that just, it's like I try to connect and I try to build a bridge to them, but they're just so disconnected and they don't want to connect and they don't want to harmonize and collaborate with me and open themselves up to me, and do whatever. So any relationship that sucks the life out of you, that sucks the life force out of you, where you just feel so exhausted by this person, then now's the time to just detach and say, you know what? No, I don't have to please. I don't have to interact with this person. I can choose to surround myself with those who lift me up, who make me feel good about myself, and who don't exhaust me and who make me feel calm. Those who make you feel at peace within yourself, feel at calm within yourself. Those who bring a sense of calm instead of bring a sense of anxiety or unrest or nervousness or just feeling unsettled. Like, for anyone in your life that's like you're unsettled with this person, now time to halt and go within and say, no, I'm going to connect with those that I just feel like I can exhale, that I can just breathe with and be, just comfortable and settle with those individuals. Scorpio. So with Scorpio, this is a deep, quiet time for Scorpio, and Scorpio is already about going quiet anyway. So it's about going quiet. Going reflective. Reflecting on the habit patterns that are not serving your growth. Like what are the habit patterns? What are the things that you do to yourself that are not serving you? Scorpio is like, I don't want to engage in the, reality. I just want to sit in a bath and whisk it all away with, just getting deep into myself and not attending to the daily grind, at worst. But this is a time where you can go quiet and go, into yourself, where that can be a bad thing, of course, what I said. But go quiet and reflect into yourself and look at the habit patterns. Look at your habit patterns and how they're not working out for you. Scorpio can, when they have a thought, like, Mercury and Scorpio, you're thinking. When Mercury and Scorpio has a thought, it holds on. Scorpio holds on to its thoughts. And it just wants to dig deep to what is the root of this thought? What is this thought really about? What is the real intention behind this thought? It just holds on to thoughts and cannot let it go. So now you're being asked to just gently release these things. And just let them go. Stop trying to hold so tightly to them. And let go of your attachment to needing to solve these mysteries in your head. Solve these deep things. Go deep all the time with, in your head. Let go of this need. And just release this tight grip on these obsessive thoughts, if you can. And choose to, get out of yourself and focus on other things if you can along with this. So allowing your thoughts to flow freely and finding outlets outside of yourself can really, really help you with that. And, what do you really mean? What do your intentions really mean based off of who you were before? Like, who were you before? What are the narratives of you before? What did you learn? How did you transform before? And what are the new intentions that you're setting yourself now with looking back at the past and saying, this is all my past and this is all that I've done, but these are the intentions that I have now, and I'm choosing to implement these things, basically. So setting on intentions, on what you, really, really mean. Because Scorpio is like so attached to it, like it's really, really deep in the feeling. Like the phrase for Scorpio is I desire. What are the things that you really desire based off of who you are now, based off of who you were before, and the things that you want to change in your life? Now, another thing with Scorpio is they could hold on to revenge. They can hold on to grudges from the past, an ex who wasn't very kind. I have a Scorpio South node, and I made a video that was not appropriate to put out on, YouTube, which, I was grieving certain people in my life. If I should say it, I was, grieving specific teachers in my life that I knew in school. And so, and I am allowed to say that. By the way, because that came up and I'm going to speak to it, I'm going to say it. So, and that's what Scorpio is about, is just speaking the truth that you're afraid to speak. And so thank you, Scorpio, for encouraging me to do that right here and now. So, releasing old hurts from your life, old people that have wronged you, those who have wronged you, those who have hurt you, and, hurt your feelings or put you in a state of revenge about life in general. Releasing that revenge, because revenge is, a kind of drinking your own poison. Revenge is not healthy. It's not about payback. Like, you did this to me, so I'm going to do this back to you. Where, revenge is like, I'm getting back at this person who's so attached to what they did. But when you release these things, you're present in your life. You're very, very present and stable, and all those kind of things in your life with that. So release those old hurts. Sagittarius. Now, Sagittarius is half. The symbol is like a centaur. It's half human, half horse. Half part of it is animal, and the other part of it is human, with a mind and philosophy. So it's a very, very complex sign. It's not just the wild and free part of it, but it also has philosophy to it. So it's a very, very deep sign that you really have to delve into in that way. But does your mind and are your mind and your soul in alignment with each other? Are your mind and your soul in alignment? With what you want and where you want to travel, and what you want to go out, when it comes to your quests in your life. Now, Sagittarius can overindulge, Sagittarius has this belief in life that life is a joke. Life is a cosmic joke. You're only here once, and it's like, don't take life too seriously and enjoy it. But at worst, there is a practical side to life, and it's not practical to overindulge in things. So overindulging in food, overindulging in traveling and physicality, whatever it is that you're overindulging in, now's the time to get out of that overindulgence and cut that overindulgence down a little bit with that. And then the other thing is, looking for the signs. Like, what is your intuition trying to tell you about where to go? What pathway to head in this life? Because because that can really, really help you out a lot with all these kind of things like that. And, you know, when it comes to not just being so caught in, I just want to go here, and I just have this optimistic idea all of a sudden. Like Sagittarius just says, I just want to do this, and I have this optimistic idea to go in this direction. I just feel so great about myself and so confident. I just want to do this and throw myself right into it. And it can go overboard without any limitations at worst. So it needs to, you know, moderate itself. And one way it can do this, check in with its intuition and see, does this thing that I just have the confidence to go out and achieve feel right to me in my intuition? Does this match for me up in my inner senses? Because your inner senses tell you which direction to go, and they're really your best guiding compass in this lifetime. So checking in with your intuition is important. And also, you know, you may be traveling to all these places. Like if you do travel and you're a Sagittarius rising, then, you know, it can be, you know, it doesn't have to be physical travel. It can be, you know, mental travel, like, you know, reading books or whatever. What places does your mind or your body go to? You're like, these are not good places for me. These places make me feel disconnected from myself. I'm not connected with my soul self. These places are not in alignment with my truth and my beliefs about myself. Because Sagittarius has some really, really strong beliefs. That's for darn sure. And, you know, what places that you just travel potentially drain you, or, you know, make you feel small instead of the big, grand person that you want to be. What places do you know are just simply not good and not healthy for you to travel to? So evaluating that is very, very important for Sagittarius. Capricorn. Moving on to Capricorn now. So I want to get into a little bit of a conversation with Capricorn because I've stated this several times in previous videos that Capricorn works and works and works and continues to work. And it's just always, I gotta get this goal done. I gotta get this goal done. You know, that's the last thing I do. I gotta focus on this goal. I gotta keep plodding along this goal. Well, I hope that you've thought to, I just want to ask you, and I'm not trying to be like mean or offensive to you, but I just want to seriously ask you, have you ever thought of just stopping and just sitting? Just, you know, just sitting with your goal. Just sitting with yourself, like stopping the work. Because when you sit with yourself, you get more aligned with, this is why I'm doing this. And maybe when you stop, you're like, it rejuvenates you and you give new energy, and it gives you new clarity and new insight before you just continue plodding along, where you can just go through the motions and plod along the same old way. Well, how can you add spice to it? How can you add your humanness to it? And that can happen when you pause and you, you know, reflect before just continuing to work and, you know, do things all the time. So Capricorn can also be so focused on its goals and business and, you know, and all these kind of things that it forgets to integrate the self-care and the spiritual practices. So bringing in those spiritual practices, like this is a reflective time for Capricorn. Very, very reflective, very quiet time. So if you can, get off work, you know, do things around that. Carve time out in your day for making space for yourself, like holding space for yourself, making time for yourself in stillness, to bring these spiritual practices, into your life. Very, very important. Now, Capricorn is such a materialistic sign. You know, very, very, you know, materialistic with its, you know, with things like it appreciates wine in a hotel, appreciates the, you know, the best quality food, and, you know, like Earth, it is very, very much material about the food, and, you know, this has to make money, and this has to have a purpose, and this has to have some value, and this has to be, you know, this has to have some physical, tangible evidence. This Capricorn, like they're so caught up in, like, it has to be factual, it has to be like real, based off of evidence. that it forgets that there is the, that it forgets it's so wrapped up into attachment to needing there to be evidence that this thing is real, instead of just trusting. Like, love is not a thing that you can taste, touch, and see, yet it is also real. Astrology, you cannot scientifically prove astrology, yet it works and yet it makes sense. Like, there are these things in life that just are, that are immaterial. And you need to understand, if you don't already, that that the immaterial comes before the material. So getting out of the material mindset of all the work on the goals and focusing on the spiritual, the immaterial aspects of life, like the nature outside, like the energies around you, what you feel in terms of your emotions, like, all these things. And then before just heading into a goal full on, be cautious about it. Strategize your goal. I think about, like, what is the result of this goal with what I do, and what, like, if I climb up this mountain, am I gonna get hurt? Am I gonna, are my legs gonna get hurt? Or is my body gonna be weakened? Is it gonna take me on path, or is this gonna take me off path? Like, really be cautious and strategic when it comes to those specific goals that you have, because caution could actually be a good thing in terms of making you more aware of the factors of life that and really considering all of those factors. So, Aquarius. Aquarius is so collaborative. It's so about, networking with all these people, and it wants to engage in all these relationship dynamics. But it forgets to look deeply at itself. So, Aquarius, this is your time to go within yourself and look deep at yourself more. Let your ideas flow. Letting your ideas flow, not holding on to ideas, not holding on so rigidly to ideas and principles and all these kind of things, needing to always implement every idea that you have because it's so grand, everything like that. This is not the time for acting on your ideas and implementing them for the good of humanity. This is a time to just sit. This is a time to sit with these ideas. Just sit with these ideas and let them be there. Reflect on them before you actually implement the idea. Just sit with the idea and, allow it to be there. And then think about, what are your goals for helping humanity? The collective, or, your group or your close circle of friends, or others. It doesn't have to just be the collective. How do you want to help? Just refer to it as the collective in the coming year. What things do you want to, what differences do you want to make? What messages do you want to put out there? Causes do you want to stand up for and help and all of that? Do all of that. So thinking about that is important. And then, Aquarius is ruled by Saturn. And Saturn is conventional. Like, instead of being so caught in how you just don't like how conventional things were and how conventional things are, focus on your life right now. Like, what can I do right now in the present to change this up, to innovate this, to revolutionize this aspect of my life? What can I do to, change this up in a way that's, better for me and, better for others, about the present moment. So that's very, very important for them to consider. Pisces. This is happening in your sign. So this is a time to reflect on the emotions and release whatever you need to release to let go of these things. Whatever unfinished business that you have, you can release these things so that things that do not serve you, release these things that are very important. And Pisces at worst can get really, really drowned out by the emotions, like really sucked in, I use that word a lot, very much caught up in others' emotions and others', pain and sorrow and the whole emotions of the world, and then Pisces can easily live from the outside in. Pisces in this life is learning to live from the inside out, where they're learning to be strong within themselves and draw healthy boundaries and be calm and peaceful and operate compassionately from that place. So living from the inside out is really, really critical for Pisces, not being drowned out by those things, but drawing healthy boundaries. And Pisces at worst can get caught up in addictions, because it just has these fantasies and delusions about like, oh, I don't care, and just these drugs take them to very, very high states of being high vibrational states. Like that's what drugs can do. But watch out for these things. Watch out for when you engage in these negative tendencies of drugs and alcohol, if that does apply to you, or any negative tendency that you find within yourself that is taking you away from you being grounded, so that you can not overindulge or indulge at all in these things, depending upon what they are. Some things you can overindulge in, some things you just can't really indulge in at all, because you shouldn't. And then Pisces is, I believe in a more compassionate world. That's what comes to my mind when it comes to Pisces. And understanding, how you project your inside beliefs and thoughts onto others. How you project your, internal world of what you have to say onto others, for both positive and negative. Because you can make a very positive, projection, I guess you could say, or, positive impact on others through what you believe and think. But then also really draining others down, because you're so caught up in how hard this life is that you just drown others out and actually lower others' vibration, because you're reinforcing to others, and you're really enforcing to others how hard this life is and all the suffering. Like maybe a lot of Pisces are like vegans or vegetarians, and they emphasize how killing animals is just so sad, and it can be like, at worst it can be like, Debbie Downer. Just so caught up in just feeling just all emotional, all absorbed in all the troubles and negative things about life, that actually those thoughts and beliefs, drain others' vibration. And so being very, very conscious of what you put out is also a huge thing for Pisces. All right, this video is long enough. This was a longer video. I don't know if these videos will be that long. I hope that you enjoyed your reading for your sign. And I really, really would encourage you. I did see several comments on my Jupiter Direct video, which I really liked to see, about, how this resonated and how this relates to my life. And I really, really like to see that. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have about any of this information, regarding this information. Please go out and share this video, to as many as possible, who are into astrology, who would find value out of this reading. I really encourage you to do this. Anyway, I will see you in the next video, in the next podcast, which is the vastness of Google Podcast, which will be tomorrow, all about Jupiter and Sagittarius, and probably what we can learn from Jupiter and Sag about living a lucky life. Living a life where luck is the main theme, and living a life in alignment with that. So maybe I'll talk about that on tomorrow's podcast, but definitely Jupiter and Sagittarius. So anyway, bye for now, everybody.